Welcome to No Options with Ty Gipson, the show where life's toughest trials become the foundation for your greatest triumphs. Real stories, raw conversations, and the unwavering belief that you were built to overcome. Now, here's your host, Ty Gipson.
Hey guys, thank you for being with us today. I'm excited. I think the last one was with me, so I'm excited. I know you're tired of hearing it from me, so I'm excited today. We have, and I'm super excited for you guys to hear from Rachel Williams. She is I've got to meet Rachel just recently. I was on her podcast, Designing Resilience, and Rachel's got a really great story. And Rachel, I just want to thank you again for being here today.
Thank you, Ty. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to speak with you and talk to your audience today.
Awesome. Well, I always, in our group here, we try to just, like we was talking, Rachel, just kind of have a conversation, right? Just kind of hear. And what, guys, I want you to hear from Rachel today is everybody's dealing with something. We all have something that we're all trying to work with. Everybody has a story, and I hope that you can connect with what Rachel talks about. And I know you will, because she's got a great story, and it's an everyday story. It's stuff that people deal with. We all have things that and so Rachel, again, thank you. And why don't you just kind of tee us up from, now I got to tell y'all though, I know I'm a Texas guy. Rachel did have a connection. She's in Colorado, but she did have a connection down in Texas. So we really connected there. So Rachel, thank you again, and let's just get rolling. So tell us a little bit about your story, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. So yes, my Texas connection is I'm a fourth generation Texan. Only moved to Colorado with my husband and our two dogs last year. So very excited to be here, but hold on to my roots. So I have always been somebody who has sought personal growth and development, and it really came to a helpful place in my life when I unexpectedly lost an executive position at a company that I was really committed to. I had responsibility for sales, marketing, and client success. And so I was super involved in our client base and attracting and taking care of them. I loved the work. And for a variety of reasons, I got a surprise in December of 2023 that I wasn't going to get to keep that job. So while I was upset, I have never had a difficulty finding work. I thought, well, I'll go through the holiday, I'll start the new year, and I'll find something. And month after month, up to 6 months, and I couldn't find anything. And I will tell you that gives you a lot of time to reevaluate how you define yourself when you're someone who had been very goal and success oriented, and who had put a lot of emphasis on their career and wanting to grow it. And so, so many things went through my brain and my heart and my finances through that transition. And I'm excited to share what I learned going through that particular challenge in my life.
And I'm glad, again, we talked in the beginning, but the mind, we talk about the mind a lot on No Options, but tell me, you mentioned, going through different stages, financial, and you had put your heart and soul into this, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we do that a lot with our, and there's a lot of companies and there's, that we just buy into, and because that's how we're raised, and that's how our DNA, right, is to give it all. And that's kind of what we're taught in school, you got to all in. But then sometimes we get this unexpected, as you did, message. So talk a little, when you went through that mind, you really had to become a strong, powerful thinking. And what do I do next? You talked about not having a job, and obviously all this stuff that just all of a sudden happened. You didn't see it coming. What kind of mind? Where did you cross into a certain type of mindset? What did you do there at that point in time?
Absolutely. So I went through different stages, I would say. Almost like the grieving process is kind of how I went through it. When it first happened, I was shocked. And, my husband and I had a Christmas trip planned. So I was like, well, we'll just go through that. And so at first it was a little numb. I wasn't really thinking about what was going on. I just kind of went through the holiday. Then I got excited and I was like, new opportunity. I like to joke that my resume kind of looks like a choose your own adventure novel. So finding new work was something I was good at.
Finding
Dusted off my
the silver
resume,
lining, right? We always talk
started
about.
connecting with people. And so, I was excited. Then when things weren't going as I had expected, which usually in my past, I would have a couple of weeks before I'd get an interview or something like that. I kind of fell off a cliff, emotionally and mentally. I can remember having days where in the bottom, I was like, why did life let me have such a beautiful opportunity in that last job if it was just going to steal it from me? Like, I'm talking like big blue droopy puppy dog sadness. But that's not who I am. So for that part, what I found valuable and what I take away is that although I do tend to put on a brave face and I know that everything changes and things are going to get better, I needed to feel that sadness. I needed to feel that low. And so I was grateful to have a very supportive husband who kind of let me be a big puddle of mud for a while. Because he had faith too that I would come out of it. And I did. And I started, the way I kind of climbed out of it was focusing on little daily things. So I didn't immediately come out of my kind of broken mindset with confidence. I started, okay, I need to get up and I need to move my body and I need to hydrate and I need to read and I need little things that I could control that gave me back a feeling that I had some effect on, that it wasn't only circumstances around me that were affecting me, that I had something I could hold on to. So I would say it was a pretty big, it was a Texas giant of mindset, soaring some days and bottoming out some days and a rickety wooden roller coaster some days. But I knew I didn't want to stay down. I knew that wasn't who I was. And so I focused on little things that I could do to pull myself back up.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it faded out a little bit, but I've got you now.
Okay, good. I apologize because I saw something come up with volume and things happen, right? So, but I want to again bring up a point. Yes, we go through a lot of different emotions, right? Like you said, I got to a thought, I said, you found the silver lining and, there, and then you kind of got hope. So you go through a roller coaster of emotions and thoughts but I think in life that we do, right? I mean, and you've obviously have rebounded and now we're taking things, and I always talk about this a lot, and this is very kind of a cliche quote, but I mean, some obstacles, a lot of times we look at them as opportunities, and that's what you did, right? That's your initial thought was like, okay, great, this is going to be an opportunity. And sometimes it doesn't work exactly. But I can tell you this, and I bet you would probably agree, what we go through makes us so much stronger and prepares us for the path ahead. And it really sounds like that's what you did. So from that, how have you rebounded, and what were some of the things you did to get there?
Yes. So I found that the daily habits that I gravitated towards were in kind of specific areas.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was my self-concept. So this is very much the framing of my mindset. The belief that I can get through anything that life throws at me. I have 100% success rate because I'm still breathing. So
that's right.
Even though it may not be fun, even though I may not like it, I can get through it. And so that was the first.
So I want to stop right there for a second. And this is an important point. I really, sometimes we don't need, it cost us zero, right? We have the tools. Everybody that's listening, we have the tools to get through. And Rachel just brought that up where she looked in the mirror and said, I've got to make a change. And I think that's an important, point that, and it's, again, we all know that, but sometimes it's really what we have to do, right? Because nobody can make things change in our own past unless we make that decision to do it. And that sounds exactly what you did. And I love that, because now you kept, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but I love that point. So I just had to jump in, but keep going, Rachel.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I think it can be easy to go to your friends and family in situations and be like, tell me it's okay. Tell me it'll be fine. Tell me it'll work out. And they will, because they love you.
Yes.
But they can't make it. You have to make it. I had to make it okay. And that's really where that focus of, I can navigate this. I've been through divorce. My first marriage failed. I was married to an alcoholic, and that was not good. My parents got divorced when I was in high school. That was really jarring. Like, I've been through stuff. I can make it. I will be okay. The second daily habit that became into super focus, because I had lost my job, was my finances. And I had luckily been thoughtful about those. I had paid off my debt. I had, with my husband and I had done that together. I had an emergency fund. I had a budget. And so I knew that I could manage my money, which was a very real fear in that job loss situation. I focused on taking care of my body for a couple of reasons. One, it reduced my stress if I was going to work out and eat well and that. And it kept me healthy because I didn't have insurance. I didn't have a job. So, taking care of the things that were just super basic to me and my experience of life daily helped me give something to focus on, because I didn't have a job, I wasn't going to work. So I wasn't thinking about that stuff. And it helped me feel like I was doing something. And all that time also focusing on, reading, learning skills, trying to make myself marketable to find a job. So those kinds of focuses helped me move forward.
Well, and that's a good point too. A lot of times people, and I was just talking about this the other day, is we talk about, like, be positive and push forward, push through it. But what does that mean? And I think you just described it too perfectly, is it's not tomorrow. We're not going to go find that perfect job tomorrow, but we take steps. And one thing you mentioned is taking care of yourself. And I think, we sometimes feel like that wall is too big to climb, and we let down ourselves. And again, at the end of the day, it's up to us. And if we don't take care of ourselves, then how are we going to get through it? Right. And I think it's a great point, is, you've got to take small steps, as Rachel just described. She, stayed focused on her workout. She's, doing small things that helped her mentally and helped her take small steps, because we're not going to change it overnight, but we can start taking small steps. And before you know it, you're like Rachel, you're looking through the other side and go, wow, okay. That was hard. I didn't like that. That was a really hard time for me, but look where I'm at. And instead of making the decision where Rachel could have easily said, oh my gosh, and that's kind of where most of my audience probably heard me talk about this a lot. On my end, I talk about what, the 3 steps I go through: grow or die, and I talk about hope or despair, and humor and drama. And that's what we do, think and talk. And you just described that. What you did was stay positive and do the small things, take care of yourself, as you mentioned. And then the way we think is, because if we don't want, it's not poor, pitiful me. Like you said, family's going to support you, but it's up to us, but if you start talking negative and doing things that are negative, then it's just overwhelming, and you just become a negative person. Right. So I love what you're talking about on the small steps. And I love seeing people on the other side because it's really worth the fight. I mean, Rachel's been through a lot, with her parents, her divorce, which, I mean, God forbid, and I've been there, and that's not fun, right? I mean, those are hard things, to get through, and then this, I mean, when you give it all, and then all of a sudden it's just ripped away, you've got to we've got to equip, and you brought up a good point about, our mind positive and all, but we do so much. We have tools for everything else, but we got to think about our mind. Take care of yourself mentally, physically, so that you can be prepared to face those walls like you did. So I mean, you yeah, it's an amazing story, and these are things people are dealing with, and I think a lot of times, as I'm sitting here thinking, I've had friends that have lost their jobs and do, some major things that kind of got ripped out, carpet got ripped out from under them, whether it be a divorce or those. We got to think about those people, because, a lot of times you're like, oh man, that's that stinks. That's unfortunate situation. But really, the world we live in is tough. We got to pay attention to these people that are going through stuff like Rachel went through, because you just heard Rachel talk about all these emotional, and sometimes I always say we just got to put our arms around each other and help each other through things. So, I think that's a good point. Be aware of our friends and families and people that this need support, because you never know what they're going through. And plus, when we do know what they're going through, just realize it's a lot more than some people think. And so, but Rachel, so I know I want to talk about your podcast, because I know you've gone on and done some really cool things. And talk to us kind of what got you into starting Design Resilience and podcast, and what got you there?
Yeah. So one of the mindset pieces that has helped me be successful through hard times was I thought about, what did I want to be when everything got good again? I didn't want to waste the time while I was waiting for things to get good again. And so I would focus on building resilience so that when things got good, I would have the stamina. Because I feel like everybody thinks about resilience is needed when it's hard. You
Right.
got to have grit and you got to fight it out and all of that. But I really think that when things are going good and moving fast and, everything's like you want it to be, you also need underpinnings to support you there. And so that was how I kind of took control and built Design Resilience. So it's a podcast that is published on YouTube and Apple Podcasts, and I have a website. And I've done a couple of keynote presentations regarding this, but it's basically every day, you want to spend some areas in 5 key disciplines, revisiting that self-concept, remembering every day that you have 100% success rate at getting through everything life has shown you, and today's not going to be any different unless it's your time to go home. 2 is doing little things to make sure that you are supported financially. So whether that is reading a financial literacy book, working on your budget, saving some money, investing, whole world there, but little thing today that I can move that forward. Taking care of my body, like we talked about. There's a lot of ways you can do that. Stress management, moving your body, eating, hydration, all of those things. Also, the 4th area to do a little bit of every day is community. Building relationships where you are open and honest, and you are in relationship with people who are open and honest. So this doesn't mean 1,500 followers on social media. This means 2 or 3 people who are walking with you through life. And the 5th is personal growth and development. They say that every time you learn something, your brain wrinkles. So I try to get 1 wrinkle in my brain every day, learning about anything, learning about people or business or art or music or whatever I'm interested in. So if every day I'm doing a little bit of all those things, remembering I've got this, taking care of my finances, my body, my relationships, and growing and learning, then I found that I was ready when life took care of my needs, when life provided me with a job, when I began to heal from those emotional wounds. I was ready because I had those practices. So that's really what designed resilience is about, is not waiting until it gets good or bad, but every day doing something to prepare so that no matter what, you're ready.
I absolutely I love that. Those are amazing steps. And I love, again, it's talking about taking small steps to achieve that big goal. But you said a quote, and I was trying to write down, and I apologize because I was trying to write, because you said something I thought was really cool. What is it going to look like when it gets good again, kind of thing? I thought that was something that's awesome, because think of, you it's kind of like putting that, I guess, I don't know, I wouldn't say a Corvette, but putting that car, that something, your goal that you want to achieve, right? We've got to visualize where we want to go and what that looks like. And I love the way you do that, because I think that's so important. You talk about the personal health again, and all of that. But I think if our audience and me, you're teaching me a lot, Rachel. I'm trying to write down some stuff, because you're making me you're going to challenge me here. But taking these steps a little at a time, slowly taking steps, but what's going to be amazing is when you look back and go, oh my gosh, look where I'm at. Look how much better I am. Because you're right. We got to it's putting the armor on us for this world we live in. Because as I said earlier, this is a tough world we live in. And so this way it will help us prepare. And everything you talked about was this stuff that you had to make a decision to move forward with. Nobody else, and it's things that we don't, I think some good points, community. I mean, you don't, get out and visit and see and get involved with things, and then stretching outside your comfort zone, like you said, maybe some art museums, things that you learn new. And I love that. So, gosh, I hope you guys get to write some of this down. I was trying to write down and I was, as much as I could, but those are some great points. Now, if the audience wants to go see, do you have a way they could see that again, or get involved, or if they needing a public, if they need a public speaker, gosh, guys, I mean, she'll get you fired up. Now, how do they find this information?
Thank you for asking. I am happy to share. So every week, I publish a video and audio podcast. So those can be found on YouTube at Designed Resilience, Apple Podcasts on Designed Resilience. And those are a combination of talking head videos, kind of like what you talked about, Ty, at the beginning, or just me talking about my experience, and interviews where I get to, like we did, where I get people who have share their journey and share their perspective on overcoming challenges. And then there's a website, which is www.designedresilience.com. And that has links to the YouTube and Apple podcasts, as well as a way to connect with me if you think your group, business, professional organization would benefit from a conversation about this. So yes, I would love to be connected to anyone who's interested in continuing this conversation.
That's awesome. And I can't imagine not. You think, and we talk about this, that we equipped with so much stuff with it. But guys, I mean, we need to work on ourselves. And I think, Rachel's got kind of laid us out a little roadmap. And again, I wrote down some things, and I may be hollering at you, Rachel, later about trying to, but you're going to challenge me. And I hope Rachel has challenged you guys. Take a small piece and learn and challenge. It's amazing what sometimes we think we know, but if we would just try something new, it's amazing where we can go. So, Rachel, I can't thank you enough, and I hope to me and you, I hope we can run into each other on a stage somewhere, and I'd love to. I can't wait to meet you. But you got an amazing story, and I encourage you. Thank you for what you're doing, because I really believe, to everybody has a story, and I encourage you to get out and share it in the community. Community, as Rachel was saying, and put your arm around some people. I mean, again, let's help each other out any way we can. But guys, again, Rachel, thank you so much. And I just want to tell you, everybody, we will continue. Rachel will have all this information out there. She just gave us everything that you can connect with. So there they are. It's up to you to go make a difference. So guys, have a great day. And again, go live life as though you have no options.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to No Options. If this episode spoke to you, please take a moment and leave a review. And more importantly, please share it with someone who may need to hear it. You can find more stories, resources, and ways to connect over at my website, tygipson.com. And that is Gipson with a P, tygipson.com. Remember, no matter where you are, your story isn't over yet if you live like you have no options. I'll see you next time.
You know Ty Gipson is an entrepreneur, a relentless survivor. Did you know he's also a powerhouse speaker? After overcoming 3 transplants of juvenile diabetes, he built thriving businesses with one mantra: no options. Ty transforms adversity into action. His keynotes ignite audiences with real-world resilience and 30-plus years of sales mastery. Are you ready to inspire your team? Book Ty Gipson today as your next speaker. You can call 512-944-4780 or head over to tygipson.com. That's Gipson with a P. It's time for your event to share the motivation that is no options.